Hello, hello. Welcome back into the LCS Challengers presented by Subway. We're back here for our second series of the day. It's going to be Team Liquid Challengers taking on Cincinnati Fear. So, Cubby, looking at this matchup, especially after looking at our last one, I would say, it's kind of surprising to see not just that Cincinnati Fear, how well they've been doing, but Team Liquid Challengers, a team that kind of going into this one, a lot of people had, pretty high up looking at this team and how they're going to perform. Hasn't really seemed like they've been all that cohesive quite yet.
Yeah, for me, I'm not surprised that Fear is doing well. I had Fear ranked like top half, I'd say, in terms of like where I put them. So given a couple teams that I had above them were like really failing, I think that Fear where they're at is not much of a surprise. I think that Fear has been coming together nicely. And for TLC, I will say, I know that, the record's not there. I think the last series I saw from them was actually a close one against Supernova, where I thought both teams played well. I think that's something that TLC can kind of build off of, and we'll see if they're able to pick up some wins, because if you are in the TLC camp, I mean, you are 1-5 at this point, and you need to pick up some wins to move your way up in the standings, make sure that you are in playoffs and get a better seed. So really want to see if TLC can rise up to the challenge today against Cincinnati Fear.
And not even just make it to playoffs, make sure to avoid the potential of the relegation promotion tournament, just going into this one to make sure that they're in as strong a spot as possible, especially because, we're looking at this team. You see Jenkins, you see Keel, Spawn, Kim Down. These are all really good elements. Roamer being like the new one that came over from the LCK that people are looking at as like, how is he going to fit with the team? But like I said, it just feels like they haven't quite been that cohesive just yet.
Yeah, and it does feel like some pieces are coming together. I think that like with TLC, I mean, they are committed to playing strong early game comps. And sometimes, just every once in a while, like maybe a lane's not pushed up, or maybe they go for a dragon that they shouldn't go for. Like once that happens, some things fall apart. But I think we have seen TLC like come up with some ways to fight back from being down with comps where they're getting outscaled, because they do like to pick more so for early game. And curious to see what kind of read Fear has coming in, because Fear's been a team that I've been very much enjoying watching so far.
I have been too, but for the fact that they keep going to 3 games in every single one of their series.
You know what happens game 3? The Grim Reaper shows up and Fear wins. As they've been coming out on top of most of these series 2-1. It's been a fun team. I think the biggest highlight for me is that when I saw Fear playing yesterday against DSG, I think that Phillip and then Zendaption have actually been really strong this split. And one of the questions was like, can Chad and Toasty kind of come together and be a strong duo? In that 2-1 yesterday, I know that Toasty got kind of smoked by Youngs LeBlanc, which is an experience a lot of mid laners have had at one point or another in this league. But I thought Chad and Toasty played much more cohesively yesterday. I was really happy to see that. Chad got a pretty stock standard game in with Toasty, and then he played the Rengar where he was able to go off and carry. So excited to see Fear bring both of those elements into making sure that these two pieces fit together. Fear continue to find some wins.
I mean, they're Cincinnati Fear. It's Fearless Draft. Everyone's always been making the memes all preseason long about them. But really, I think that's kind of been their strength, is the fact that it is Fearless, where they can play all these crazy things. We saw Chad, what was it? I think at the beginning of 2022, where he was playing a lot of that Rengar, where people were like, it's not very good. And he kept spamming it to the point where people had to ban that away from him. So seeing him bring it back here is really nice to see. But as we get into the draft for this one, we see Twisted Fate taken away from Roamer, and then the Seraphine denied their, as that flexible pick that can go for so many, 3 of the players here on Fear.
Yeah, we have seen TF be taken away from TLC. I think it was yesterday too. No, it was. I think Fear were banning it against DSG. Maybe they just don't play it and don't want to deal with it. So I'm not too surprised. Whereas 2 of the very supportive mid laners now being denied from TLC.
Ooh.
Yeah, no Ivern. I respect that, getting rid of that. I think that Roamer has actually played Jace and Triss with Ivern quite well. And I'm curious if that, like, Fear decides to prioritize some Maokai here to maybe deny the other pairings for Jace and Triss. And, yeah, that was the other one. Varus is very strong, so that's
right, that's the only reason why I'm like, the Maokai Jace, you're right. It's really good there for TLC, but Varus, it's just...
It's Varus. That's it, Matt Magical. Yeah, just shrug. I got to look over my screen to see that one, but I appreciate the fact that we've got a Varus enjoyer here as the response. There has been a lot of Callista being played for Spawn. I'm still kind of out on Callista. I'm gonna go through my Callista stats here.
The only reason why Callista for me here I like is just because Spawn historically has been really good on this champion. This is something that goes back a long time ago that Spawn has been playing many years.
That's true. I will say that Kalista, though, in this league, being up 541 gold at 15. Want to know what the record is?
2-7.
3-12. Kalista's been really down horrendous in this league, and I love this pick. Play the Heimerdinger. Yes. Let's go Daption. This is a hard counter to Kalista lanes. You build Rylai's, you're able to space out Kalista. Daption has already won a game on Heimerdinger this split where he played quite well in that game. I think that Fear have a good idea of how to play against Kalista. It's going to be a lot about buying space, and I'm curious now if they decide to grab something like a Maokai to really lock down this Kalista, or if they decide to take mid now, as Azir would be likely banned away from Toasty. Looks like that's going to be the pick.
Yeah, and I kind of like this too. I like seeing Chad more on the hyper-aggressive junglers. We were talking about the Rengar, but Chad just a player. Split. Chad jungle, right? It's just how he's always played. So seeing him on something more exciting than just Maokai.
This split, though, it's been like a 50-50 split for Chad. He has 2 games of Trundle, 2 games of Sedge, 2 games of Maokai, and then he's got the Nocturne, Viego, the J4, and the Rengar. So he's actually kind of split.
I know you're already not playing enough Trundle when you pair that up with Sejuani.
Well,
doesn't understand people.
Either way, Bard going to be a lot.
Clearly doesn't play enough Urf either. If you play Trundle and Urf, you just take turrets eventually.
Yeah, well, without minions. You don't even need Urf for that with Trundle,
True.
man. I watched Dragoon 4-plate someone after he got a solo kill, and they had to walk back to lane. That was pretty gross. Bard going to be taken against Heimer. You can somewhat deal with the turrets. You have a little bit of poke and sustain, but Bard's mostly for outside of lane. So we'll see how active Kim decides to get on the map, and curious if we see Maokai taken away, as I think Maokai is a very big pick, very dominant. It's something that Keel is, both junglers are willing to play. I don't like it as much in Fear's comp because they're already pretty heavy magic damage. So, wondering if we see Fear ban that.
I like this ban of the Poppy, though. Yeah. The Poppy is actually something I really like seeing from TLC, because you talked about the Maokai that Chad could possibly play. That also could have been a Poppy that easily could have been flexed around there. And that's something that does really well into the Rel that they pick here. The Kalista automatically would be great into that too. So making sure to take off something really strong like that, I like. But this almost feels like it is forcing Chad towards that Maokai, being like, all right, play the Maokai. Please play the Maokai.
I don't know. I think
we need you on something that's more of a tank.
I think Vi is a really good look here for Chad, as it looks like it's going to be a top Gragas for Philip. That's, I mean, now you really cannot play any more magic damage. You have to go for some AD. I would really like Vi. You have point and click against Kalista. Orianna, you can combo with Azir rather well. And you can deal decently well with Rel as the Vi. So I expect that to be a pick. Viego is doable too. You can at least buffer things, and Chad's a very good Viego player. There's enough setup for it. I feel like they have enough engaged to warrant a Viego. Chad has yet to play Vi this split, so Viego is definitely a go-to pick for him. It's something that Chad's very proficient on. So not surprised. But Jenkins... Oh, he gets an Aatrox. That's
Aatrox is good. It's good. But I was hoping... Okay, look. It's Jenkins. It's me on the broadcast. I was hoping for the Warwick.
Hey, okay. Well, that's fair. I will say Jenkins is a damn good Aatrox player, and this is a good matchup for Aatrox.
I was hoping for the Warwick. You know, just... I've seen many a Warwick from Jenkins before, but it wouldn't be that great into this comp, honestly. So the Aatrox is a lot better, I think.
I'm kind of curious. I think that we're going to see Lens go poke this game. And I really want to see Fear kind of play with their range. They have a lot of range in disengage. And TLC, they're range gated this game. They have Kalista, like Orianna and Rel is a good combo, but Aatrox can be kited out. I think that Fear needs to play these fights kind of walking backwards and get TLC to overcommit. And for TLC, when Keel and Kimdown and Roamer, these three are going to be dictating the engages. When they go in, it needs to be sound. It needs to be clean, because if not, that Rylai's Heimerdinger just walk backwards behind those turrets. You could be really annoying. And overcommitting from TLC is going to be tough. So they're going to need to play with the angles really smart. They're going to need to have good engages. They want to close the gap against a comp that will outscale them, or outrange them for sure.
We're now loaded up onto the Rift for our second series of the day. Cincinnati Fear. It looks like they are the ones getting chat on their side. Make sure you're spamming whether you want Fear or TLC. Take this game. And I bet a lot of people are going to want the Heimerdinger. You know, they're going to see Daption on that and be like, yeah, you know, gotta root for the Donger.
But you know, if I was a betting man, though, I would just bet on game 3. I think that's where you got to go.
That is 100% of what I would do, too.
This one's going to 3. That's our prediction coming into this.
And the one thing, like, I even want to kind of mention this, because I like the point you're talking about where there's a lot of poke, there's a lot of ways to kite back here from here. But one of the problems when you have a composition like that, even if it's low range on the side of TLC, is if they hard engage and you're not ready for the setup, it is really difficult to get away from them.
Yeah.
There's a lot they can do to stick to you, especially Keel, especially Jenkins here. Tempered Fate 2 from Kimdown can help them set up and deny you from getting that poke laid down.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that you're pointing this out. I think that, like, when TLC press their buttons, it just has to be together. And that's something that TLC, to be fair, have somewhat struggled with so far in this early season. This is a team where I think their best series was against Supernova, and it was one of the first series where it looked like this team was on the same page. They had direction. I think that TLC, like, between, you know, maybe not all being on the same page, trying to get champion pools to work out together, and then, like, some just on and off games from, like, certain players. Like, sometimes Kimdown looks like, you know, the next great support, and then other times Kimdown just looks like he's like not really making an impact on the map, right? And we want to see more consistency from him in year 2, more consistency from this team, who, again, talking about FlyQuest, TLC, FlyQuest, and Disguise, they have first pick of the litter when it comes to players. So by that logic, these, you know, Disguise, TLC should not be bottom of the standings. It should be closer to where FlyQuest is at the top. We haven't seen that so far this split.
No, but look at this mid lane. Romer getting a little bit of an advantage here against Toasty, kind of pinning him underneath that turret, even getting a nice ward placed down. So he'll spot Chad, having full cleared the top side. Be on those Raptors soon. Actually, I think he dodged away from something. No, he hasn't. Okay, it just took him a while to kind of get there.
Now, Kill did go for the AoE camps first as well. Took the red buff last, so looks like full clears. Overall, Viego likes that, and I think one of the big targets for Viego potentially in this matchup is trying to punish Rel at some of the respawn camps, if possible, as Viego loves to feast early. Because if Viego gets ahead, your ability to really press your advantage and move forward is big. Something that Chad is very used to.
At the moment, kind of been a little bit slow. We're seeing a bit of a push here, top lane, the ebb and flow. We haven't seen a lot of Gragas, you know, as of late, but Philip, when that was really the meta, was one of the best players on this champion. So seeing him still play this, and it's up against Aatrox. It's going to be a push and pull for top lane. The bot lane, though. Fear, Lens, and Daption. Yeah, already about to get a plate here, and it's not even 3.5 minutes into the game. This ain't going to get any easier here for Spawner and Kimdown unless Keel starts visiting the spot lane.
I really like the Heimer pick. I know Daption's willing to play it, and I got to respect Daption. He's had a wide pool. Daption, originally when I saw him, when I first started casting in 2020, Mad Magical, CLT Phoenix in Big League. Daption was there. He was a Yuumi and Enchantress one-trick. He's come a long way since then, even hoisting a collegiate championship. A lot of our college players have been performing quite well in this league, Daption being one of them. I think that he's actually been quite good this split with Lens. And I really appreciate that he's willing to play a pick that is a higher execution pick, but I feel like is really strong, especially into a lane like Kallisto.
I really liked how Lens and Daption were starting to do last year too with Wildcard, where they first got to play with each other in summer, and they were starting, like at the beginning of the split, did take a little bit for them to get used to each other. They did start to really come online, especially when we got closer to playoffs, and it's kind of tragic too. They're playing against their former teammate here in Keel, and it's the turn of fates were Keel here, as Lens and Daption, they've been having a pretty solid spring split so far, while Keel, you know, with TLC, we've talked about how this is a team that, you know, had picked the litter. They looked like the scene that we were all hyping up, like, yeah, this is going to be one of those super teams, and just have kind of fallen short. And
oh, Philippine, he's in trouble.
I will say, yeah, he is in a lot of trouble. He has flash, but so does Jenkins on the other side. There's going to be the dash away, not even getting the flash from either side.
Okay. Well done there by Jenkins to find the cancel on that E from Philip. After the chains tried to get out, Q2 canceled that. As Daption tried to find the stun on Spawn. Spawn with a nice side step off the passive. Still pretty quiet in the Rift. We might see a trade, though, as Chad just took down his respawn Raptors. He still has bot priority. I'm curious if this is when he decides to head towards that Dragon at level 5. I think this is the window where it's good for Chad. You can see, you know, he's guessing this one, too. He's already on his grubs, as Chad not going straight to the Dragon first. He's actually going to finagle around the bot wave and
he's got time. He's got plenty of time. TP came in from Jenkins to the top side. Oh, good flash there from Romer to get away. Shockwave just deny Chad from actually continuing that engage, instead getting a lot of poke there onto Toasty.
And grubs are already taken, so Fear kind of lost the tempo on the play. As
oh,
Chad,
the flash not connect together. That's not good. And look at Toasty. He's looking mighty. Toasty on the other side. Flash
Yeah.
in from Keel. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I mean, that's just Fear over pushing and overplaying their hand. Props to Roamer. Roamer lane, lane is somewhat Ori favored early on. I think Roamer's playing it out very nicely, but Toasty, I can appreciate the look at first on Roamer, but after the reaction flash, there's nothing else. So Chad going in, over pushing, that's tough, because now you don't get to trade out the dragon for the grubs. Instead, you have to wait for your mid laner to be back, and that window is no longer even. It's something that can be contested by TLC. So I'd say a really big win on the mid lane from Roamer. Good to see him and Keel stepping up.
There's like 2 series in a row. Game 1, mid lane's having an unfortunate flash diff that ends up going the other way around, and now Keel will find Chad. Chad, unfortunately, not getting anything. We talked about that top lane play where they got themselves that point grubs, the dragon not taken. Well, Kim Down does take a lot of poke here in the bot lane, does flash away. Piercing arrow connects the burn, not enough though. Down to just double digits, but not quite the single digits that we've seen also from the last series.
Still really good from Daption, just some good Heimer mechanics, like the stun lands, instantly drops the turret to get that laser to proc on the turret. As if you do hit that the E, you will get some bonus damage coming out from the kit that Heimer has. Good to see our players abusing anything and everything that can get to, find some sort of advantage. As Toasty, no ult yet.
Not quite the ult yet. A few seconds away. And Roamer actually playing that one wisely. He kind of knew it. He was like, yeah, I played enough Azir. I know the timers. You don't have that up just yet. So I can easily walk away from this, get a good shove in. Even if there's good vision that's been placed down by Cincinnati Fear on this bottom half of the map, they haven't really gotten much outside of the flash from the bot lane. So I really want to see what can Fear do here to kind of come back from what just happened in that mid lane.
Well, bot lane is still going rather well, as the second plate's picked up for 8 minutes, so Benson National will be happy about that one. And I do want to shout out, Roamer. I think that Roamer, sometimes for me, Roamer, there are a couple instances in games where it's like, he hits a side lane that he can't hit, or he's at a wave where I think he should be somewhere else. But Roamer individually in lane has been quite good. Second in gold differential at 15 as a mid laner, and Toasty
flash in. Doesn't get the stun though. Looks like Kim Down might be able to get out there. No flash, no heal, and no escape there for Kim Down. He's going to fall down. As Roamer now going to be the next target. Doesn't have the flash, but does not even pop the Emperor's Divide. So instead, letting him get out of there so they can go for the dragon.
Yeah, that was really close to finding Roamer. So I appreciate that Chad was going for that with Toasty. Roamer's still pretty far up here.
Yeah, Roamer's very far up. Does get stunned up that time around, but Toasty doesn't have his own dash in. Already using that prior, so...
Still a good chunk from Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Azir has fleet, so can't sustain. And of course, Chad, if he finds a good enough chunk or play there, they could look for the dragon. Chad instead going to take the reset, as he would love the shop. He's sitting on a lot of gold right now. But I was going to shout out, Roamer's laning stats. And then for Toasty, laning is definitely something that we want to see Toasty grow in. This is Toasty's first split. I've seen Toasty have some fantastic team fight angles and flank angles, whether it's Kali. We've seen him pop off on Nico games as well. I think Toasty is definitely an exciting young player that we have. But hey, you know what? It's his first split. And, much like how I was talking about Rock Bloom in the last game, these guys have the ability to play out fights well, but they haven't quite learned how to lane consistently well yet at this level. So definitely see Toasty level that up. He is 8th out of all mids in gold diff at 15. We have seen some games where Toasty just kind of gets blown out of the water in lane. I think Chad helping him out there is nice for Toasty. We'll see if he can continue to try and get back in this lane and step up later on.
Yeah, but you know what I like to say, Cubby? About laning stats and all that stuff? Doesn't matter because we got the late game.
It doesn't matter if you play the late game as well. And that's, again, something that Toasty deserves a lot of credit for. I think Toasty's played a lot of fights very well.
Yes, exactly. And that's something that I'm still looking for here. And that's why I feel like this game kind of slow at the moment. A couple kills here and there. The ebb and flow of the bot lane, same with the top lane. We're getting these minor leads here and there. Like mid lane, Roamer's still getting good advantage here against Toasty, but Chad's been really hanging around here, really trying to punish Roamer as many times as he can. Flashing forward as well. Flash is there, but Roamer does not get his timer there. So he has to kite back the best he can. Flashing away, but the Heartbreaker already connected. The damage flash coming in from Toasty to make sure they can collapse and pick up Roamer.
Well, they give it over to Toasty too. Well played by Chad and Toasty. As you called out, Roamer did not react to the W flash from Chad. So he falls, did burn his flash in the process too, and that's big because that's something that Fear can revisit. And I like how Chad is trying to set up through this mid-lane matchup. I think him and Toasty are playing well off each other. If you get flash out of Orianna or pretty much any mid against Azir that, isn't mobile, you can always rinse and repeat and revisit. So I'd like to see Chad setting it up a couple times as Daption's in big trouble.
He's dead. There ain't no escape here. There's already the TP from Roamer on the other side, but he does not have that shockwave. So Toasty having also TP just to make sure there wasn't a further collapse, having to sacrifice Heimerdinger for it.
Yeah, I don't think Toasty necessarily needed to come down bot, but I appreciate his willingness to try and help out his bot lane, as he will get back to mid.
It could still be dicey. There's still Fate's Call there for spawn.
Yeah, there were no ults, though, on the mid laners. Like, I don't think that Toasty makes a high impact. Like, neither mid with those TPs makes a high impact play. So that was a bit curious to me that each mid decided the TP there.
Yeah, like, I think that Roamer starting off the TP, Toasty, it was more reactionary. Just felt like, hey, if he's going to TP, I might as well try to answer to make sure no further play can happen. Well, top lane, top lane just kind of getting the trade of a flash and ult, but mid lane, Toasty without that flash cannot get away from Keel.
Really good revisit. Toasty a little bit far up there looking for poke. Didn't need to be that far up as the lane was coming to him. Keel able to punish.
Didn't have ult either.
Yeah, so well played by Keel to make sure that he's getting in there, getting involved.
Yeah, just kind of a trade there. Getting rid of the control ward, but good plays here from Keel, and that's kind of what I was looking for with this so far for Keel. And this is something we saw a lot of from Keel. It's how much he impacted the map for Wildcard last year with Lens and Daption, how much he moved around this, and he was very exciting when he did so. And so we're seeing with this kind of team composition so far, it was a very quiet early game. It was very silent, radio silence there from this rel. But now, every play that has been made so far from TLC has been off the back of Keel, and now he's even revisiting into the top lane, getting the flash and dash there from Philip.
I see each of our junglers very active, and I think this has been a really nice game from Keel so far, as he's made some high-impact plays. Face call, needing to be burned to respond to the chain of corruptions.
They're just afraid of a lot of that damage. There's a lot of blight stacks there on Kim Down. It wouldn't have actually picked up the kill, but definitely would have forced him out of the lane.
If Daption was able to chain his damage, I think it might have.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those kind of like coulda, woulda, shoulda. I think it's more just to make sure that they can stay in this lane and not lose too much, because if Kim Down's even forced down below 25%, they can't stay here to really even collect on all this gold here from the minions.
The harass continues as it's a double Comet lane from Lens and Daption, so very, very lane focused. Still expect Daption to go straight towards that Rylai's on the Heimer, bring the utility. But we did set up early in the game at Magical that TLC, they need to do a good job of closing the gap and taking clean fights when they do. And I want to give TLC credit because, I feel like we've seen some of that already, especially from Keel. But also, a gold lead very much helps with that later on. You will be forced to jump into this comp. And having a little bit of extra stats behind you when you do have to move forward and go in is something that's quite helpful. So I think TLC have set themselves up quite well early on. And Jenkins, I mean, this lethality Aatrox, it spikes really hard once you finish this Profane Hydra on the 1 and 2 items. So I want to see if TLC, tries to push around this timer. We do see first brick fall to that Heimer Varus lane.
And hey, like I said, Gubby, you get Kim Down out of lane, and you can't defend that at spawn. That's why I had to stay so far back, and now they can even get this engage on the other side while Keel, you get a guy's crash down there with the Magnus Orb and Shockwave combination. With a take down one, flash a wave. Daption barely surviving. But all they needed was that one pick so they can go for the dragon.
They did, and Kim Down was the one who turned it around. If we get a replay, you'll see he actually found the stun onto Lens, so the Chain of Corruptions couldn't be chained with the Emperor's Divide. So Toasty ends up being isolated. He gets taken down. Really good find from Kim Down to stop the follow-up from Lens, because that would have certainly been a kill if he's able to hit the Chain of Corruptions off the Emperor's Divide. It's a ton of damage at this point of the game, given where Lens is at. So I think really good awareness from Kim Down, finding the right target.
Here we go. So let's look at this. Just watch Kim Down here on the screen.
Yeah, so again, Toasty, he wants to engage. They have the Varus Heimer, but look at that. Finds the double stun into Heimer Lens. That's beautiful. That saves any chance of a chain CC coming to stop Roamer. The ult also gets a flash out of Daption. Really nice moment there from Kim Down. He got picked earlier, but I think made up for it heavily there.
See, something we didn't, we kind of touched on Kim Down earlier, and kind of wanting to see how he's been growing in his second year here in the Challengers League, right?
Yeah.
And this is a player that back when he was on UCI, he was actually really well known for his Bard play. So having that here, And so this is going back when he was in collegiate.
Yeah.
This was one of his like signature picks, was this Bard. So bring that out here. Really did show the heads-up play there. Like, hey, if I get the stun onto Toasty, doesn't stop what's about to happen. But if I get the stun onto the bot lane here, they can't support Toasty and turn it around and maybe get a 1-for-1 or possibly a 2-for-1.
Man, I was about to highlight Keel, who had quite the inventory going on. He had a Kindle Gem. He had the piece that builds into, Frozen Heart. He had a Bombies. And then the Negatron. He turned that into an Abyssal Mask first, so still sitting on the Bombies to help with that clear speed. I expect a Frozen Heart next, but there are 3 sources of magic damage on Fear, and Varus has a little bit to boot on his own, so Keel going to be nice and safe, building that Abyssal Mask first. And TLC, again, pretty far ahead, and the map is kind of theirs at the moment. If Toasty and Fear aren't able to push out and set up any points where you can poke with the Heimer, poke with the Varus, I think TLC kind of are able to dictate what they want to do, and we see that right now as Rift Herald is the objective that's up, and TLC has a good setup around here.
You say they're really far ahead, but then I look at the gold.
I mean, it's doable. It's a close game. It's still a playable game, but TLC, they're the ones that have the push in the lanes and are dictating where they want to go at the moment. So I think that Fear are going to need to find some good poke if they want to try and break this.
Right, and that's something we did set up before. This is a great poke composition. They have a lot of ways to kind of set up around the map, as long as they're the ones first on the play, as long as they're the ones setting up and not being reactionary here to TLC.
Oh,
and it
no
seems
flash.
like TLC are not ever going to give him that opportunity. Dashin, he is pulled right back in, crashed down on top, but they got a lot of damage onto the back line. Look at how low they are. They got the re-engage, flashed away, Rover surviving. Wait for Jenkins in here with a shockwave, pulling in everybody from Fear so they can get the kill for Romer, killing spree. Everyone from Fear now scattering. Even if spawn got low, they cannot continue to chase.
I mean, honestly, I really liked how Lens was able to bounce back from Daption getting picked. Of course, Daption didn't have the flash, but Kimdown's been a beast on the Bard this game. He found the stun in the back half of the fight, so to prevent the follow-up from Chad and Toasty. So I've been really impressed with Kim this game. I think that these last 2 skirmishes, he's really been setting things up for Keel again to close the gap, find those clean engages, and capitalize off of it, and that's what's getting TLC ahead.
Showing off those skills here on the Bard.
That's really nice.
Yeah, just look at this. I love the fact that they go for Daption. Again, they have to be the team that's constantly setting up, and even though, as you called out, Lens does help get a lot of damage onto this back.
Yeah, watch this from Kim.
Yeah,
oh, double stun, beautiful. Wow. Double stun into the shockwave. Really well played by Kim and TLC, as Kimdown really showing up this game.
Exactly, and that's been the issue. It's like, when you have a really good Bard player like Kimdown, it can really change a lot of how you want to play, because there's a huge difference from someone who kind of knows how to play Bard, they play him well, to essentially a one-trick, even though Kimdown's not a one-trick. He's been playing it for such a long time and so damn good at it. He's almost on that same level.
If you hit your stuns as Bard, it is a very long stun time if you were able to connect. In the last 2 fights, he has connected and it has changed it completely as Daption.
Oh, he didn't notice. He threw out the missiles there, but they didn't actually connect onto anybody, and that's a good way of kind of scouting as well. Another Heimerdinger tech there. You can throw out the missiles in that wide range, and you'll see when they stop short, so you know if someone's there.
All right, well, we're 20 seconds away from the Hex Tech Dragon spawning. This is the soul that we have. Philip could look.
They don't know he's there. And he's over the wall onto Jenkins as well. Bursting him down. The world ended for the world ender with the dragon up as well. Immediately peeling back to deny that soul point potential for TLC.
That was really clever from Fear. And honestly, one that TLC, again, I think they should have been a little bit more wary of. I like this TP a lot from Romer, by the way. Just making sure that he's up top to get something. I think this is a good response. But TLC, they had control over the bot side of the map. But they tried to play mid. Jenkins was on the opposite side, the side that Fear had control over, and Philip found a really nice gap. He wasn't showing in that top wave, so able to get in, one-shot Jenkins. Like that a lot coming out of Fear.
Yeah, they pretty much just locked him down for so long that he could never pop his ult, couldn't flash away, and GG. When you're playing lethality Aatrox, yes, it's fun. You do a lot of damage, but yeah, you're squishier than Lens is.
Good target selection from Fear. And I do want to say, I think that something, again, I said coming into this is TLC. We haven't always seen them on the same page as a team. We have seen some good moments from TLC so far. in this game one. I think there have been some good direction in terms of where they're looking to try and find some damage, find their targets to execute cleanly. Bard Rel is, I mean, it's pretty easy to execute, right? It's like, hey, we're going to hit our stuff and stun people and then go in afterwards. And I think Keel and Kimdown have really stepped up in dictating the pace for TLC. That one, though, with Jenkins hovering the wrong side, that was a little bit of disconnect on the team. I think they should have played towards that bot pocket and moved towards the dragon. So TLC, Baron's down the map, see if they can bounce back from here. Jenkins does clean up that bot turret as Fear picking up their camps. And things, again, kind of quiet on the Rift.
Kind of just a push and pull at the moment on the Rift. As Cincinnati Fear, I will highlight again our team that really does need to kind of set up on the map, while TLC are the team that needs to play really quickly on the calls to be like, okay, do we have the information? Do we know where Fear is? Let's go. We got to chase them down now, because if we give them even a second, then set up some of these turrets, get the stuns there for someone like Daption, they can turn that really quickly back onto the face of TLC.
Yeah, Fear. I mean, only objective at the moment is Baron. I don't think Fear have a real threat to try to take this. Their DPS isn't terrible, despite having a poke Varus. As the difference of DPS and Baron with poke Varus versus on-hit Varus, very significant. I don't think they want to start it, just given that Roamer is the member of TLC that is fed. And Roamer has the chance to blow everyone up at Baron, which I don't think Fear wants to open up at all. So just controlling, trying to play the back and forth with Vision and seeing if they can weave in some Varus arrows in between. Varus does have priority over mid, just give him the range whenever he wants to show up. He can clear those waves pretty easily. TLC going to do a nice job of clearing out all the Vision here.
Toasty was a little worried. That's why I was a little quiet there for a second, because I saw how far TLC had been pushing up the Vision. Thought maybe for a second he was about to walk around a corner, get spotted out, and an immediate flash in Magnet Storm from Keel to kill him. He was smart on that one, but very cautious after those last few plays onto him. As you can see, 1-4, 3-1 on the other side.
Yeah,
like you're
I think
highlighting.
this is the big difference. Because, I mean, it is a full item for Roamer. And a lot of that was off of, Keel making sure that Roamer got back into the mid lane. I know that Chad and Toasty tried to set up on Roamer multiple times. Roamer did go down once, but Keel was able to answer back immediately. And, like, even Roamer, I mean, that TP post-Dragon, that Orianna got so many resources, like, I think that's well worth it. Keel takes a... Wow, that was a statement. I'm just going to pour right on out of here, man.
It's almost like T-posing, just T-pose right on. I'm just like, yeah, you're not going to stop me from taking this gate. Even if you stop me, I'm Rel. What do you want?
So props to Fear. They've been the ones that are controlling this. And at the moment, they have one wave where they can locust Philip. He was hovering the mid wave. Did not show, though. He will go back bot to respond to Jenkins in his push.
Yeah, TPs for both top laners.
Yeah, I will say those are the angles that you have to look for if you are Fear. As now Jenkins, of course, he got this all the way in. So now Fear, they're going to have to be on the back foot. And you see where they're hovering. They're staying above that mid-outer turret. Making sure that even if Jenkins were to approach, that they have enough distance and are safe enough to respond. As that's well done from Fear, especially considering that they just pulled the same trap on TLC for the last dragon. We'll see what happens with this next dragon as we're a minute away from this. And I think the team's attention are going to shift a little bit more towards this Hex deck.
Yeah, I feel like also we're just kind of seeing both teams a little timid on making that play at the moment. Not really wanting to forfeit some of that control, as we were talking about. There's a lot that, if you're Fear, you lose out on that play, the momentum starts shifting to TLC, that you can't set up anymore for your poke. Well, TLC, they can't let that go over to Fear, because then they can set up, they can make it really easy. So that's why you kind of see them both playing far back, not really wanting to make a play, kind of fishing for some plays, even with a shockwave on a Daption and Toasty there. More to scare him out, but Chad, he is not done. He gets pulled back in by the Magnus from having to flash away. But the Tempered Fate to connect on the lens, and look at Jenkins on the other side. Getting a little bit of poke on to Philip, going to be the target. Pulled back a little bit, not connecting the chains, which gives enough time now at TLC, as we're only 15 seconds away for that dragon.
TLC do have a little bit of sustain with the Bard. It's like the members that are chunked for Fear. Philip can sustain through his passive, but Chad really can't. That's a big one to have chunked out. I know the poke advantage is in the hands of Fear moving forward, but I think at the moment TLC have done a decent job. Roamer really held the line well with that early shockwave.
Jenkins got to be careful. He already popped the World Ender, and that's a lot of his sustain gone.
Yeah, Philip's just getting his ult back up now. I think that's what Fear were waiting for. Maybe they can do something with all the displacement they have between the cask and the Emperor's Divide.
Yeah, Romer has to wait for the shockwave. Not up just yet. Got a few seconds until that will come back up and make it a little bit easier for the dragon, but they've got so many spears now. Onto the dragon, that's essentially another smite. They try to get into the pit, try to get him away from that, but it's low. Who gets it? Stolen away by Chad as they have to disengage. The chains did not connect. Got a lot of damage. Toasty wanted to get Romer, but he's got to be careful. The shockwave is now available. Shockwave, look at the burst it does. Even with the Embers Divide, it kicks him back, but he cannot stop. As it's a double kill for Romer. 2 dead on Fear. TLC now pushing towards the top side of the map.
I think Toasty, I don't know if he expected the Oriole to be back up or not. That, to me, is an engage you look for when it's not up, because once he goes in, that's a one-way trip. Romer found Daption and Toasty with that second shockwave as it hit Fear, and now Fear's low. This is a little bit risky. I think Lens...
No way Chad can do it twice, right?
No, I mean, I think the poke from Lens is going to be really big. So I don't know if TLC can actually stick this, and I think that they're kind of killing a lot of their tempo, but Romer's going to commit to a TP, and it is a 5v3, so we'll see how they can turn. Toasty does have TP when he spawns here in 5.
Keep in mind, Spawn did not get any spears onto the spear. Now he's on top of it. Now starting to get it. Temper Fate connecting on Dash again, but only the solo solitary member is trying to engage. That's a huge cast. Pinch do it again. Not this time. Secured by Keel, but they are going to at least trade 1 for 1. Jungle for jungle.
Kim down falls as well, so TLC, they drop 2, but they take Baron. That's well worth it for TLC. Nice job of Kim down to keep everyone out of the pit. I know Chad was able to get there eventually, but didn't get the reset as he kept on getting pulled back by the Magnet Storm. Get another look at this. All right, we're going to go all the way back. First off, Chad, a little bit of a miracle still here at 194. So just missing the calculation. Then Fear's out of here. Like, Toasty doesn't need to do this, but Toasty decides to send it onto Romer, and he's going to eat a shockwave and eat a gray screen for that one. I think that was a bit of an oops from Toasty. Just not necessary for him to go in. I know that Toasty loves to make his plays, but I think given what the state was there for Fear, they just can keep on poking and actually, you know, play that slow, get the fast track to mid, and then maybe go from there. Instead, Toasty making that play, it enabled TLC to now burn the TPs and get back in to take this Baron. And there's quite a bit of standing gold here for TLC on the map. That mid outer should fall to this Baron for free. And Jenkins and Ori, Romer can pick up a lot in the side lanes. I mean, both these solo laners are already ahead for TLC. They can get a lot more now with Baron, making sure that these waves are being pushed up and they're nice and safe.
Well, you pretty much have the Baron on the 3 members you want it to be on. Heal came down not having it, not that big a deal. But your 3 carries having that Baron buff now can set them up. Though all 5 members of TLC are committing for this mid lane, they will take down 1 turret. Pretty decent sized minion wave. With Philip on the other side kind of scaring TLC. Now they can spot him out, realizing that engage could have been there. They completely bail out of this jungle.
It's all right. Mid outer's still free. They can try and set up the dragon yet again. And time is decent for TLC here. Romer is really fed this game. And they're giving Romer everything. As you can see the gap, again, between Toasty, where he's at, 2 items and sitting on a crystal, and then Romer, 3 items and sitting on a needlessly large rod and already has the pen. These shockwaves are something that Fear really have to play around. I think that any teamfight execution that comes out from them has to be on Romer if they want a chance to win.
Especially because this ain't that tank top lane for the Gragas, right? He's pretty susceptible. Shockwave connecting, forcing the flash. Look at how much damage he already took. So the turret falling, Temper Fate onto 2 members. Nobody there to make sure they can answer, but they do actually force away TLC. I'm surprised they scattered from the play.
No, the Heimer had the super turret down and Fear were rotating, so TLC just going to take that, take the inner and take the gold. I like the discipline, frankly, out of TLC.
Fair. You know, that's a good point. Gotta always fear what the Heimerdinger turrets can do.
He had the big one
so
out,
just take the gold, cash out, get out of there.
The big one does do a lot of damage to TLC. Again, they have to be very careful about overextending into Fear. That is still, I think, the way that Fear wins and why. I'm kind of curious if Toasty's like looking for all these Shurima shuffle plays. I know getting the pick with Varus, I think it's worth it if Toasty can trade himself for Romer, but that's probably the only member that I'd go after. Toasty does have his flash up. Romer can respond with his own. We'll see a little minigame between the 2 mid laners if they're able to take down Romer, who, look at that, has just finished the death cap and is quite fed as he has up 3k gold on the map.
Jeez Louise. That is, that's gonna be a lot of damage. That's 2 items. Well, about 1.5 items, really, over Toasty. This is kind of scary here for Fear. Like, they gotta fear the Reaper being Romer, because he will eviscerate these squishy members here of Fear.
Romer, he pulled off a little bit of a Chovy play there. Fixed top wave, got that all the way in, now TPing back. Lens finds a little bit of poke on the Spawn, which who can't sustain it at this point. So Spawn eating the poke, not nearly as detrimental as earlier on. Skim down.
Then for Fate, oh, it's on the Lens. Perfect target. Engage from Keel.
Oh.
Huge Megazord combo. Wombo combo on a Fear. Jenkins chasing down Chad. Then he deletes him off the map. Only Philip will survive.
We asked for explosive team fights from TLC if they want to win this game, and they delivered. What a start from Kim Down, and the follow-up from Keel was perfect as well. TLC wiped the fight. That's 4. Might be enough to take the game.
Definitely going to take the game off this one. Long death timers here for Fear. Only Philip alive. Trying to cut the wave the best he can. The minions are still going to crash in all the same. Getting sped up a little bit as well from Roamer. 8-1 on Orianna.
Philip's got ult. I don't know if they can end.
They got a lot of damage, but here is Daption back. Lens will be up in 5 seconds. Chad 8. They try their best to fight back. Try to hold on to the game. Nexus starts about to fall. Here's Philip getting a little bit of damage on a Spawn. They're taking a lot themselves. Spawn almost getting the game. Does not get it denied with the chain. Chad hoping to get the shutdown for Lens with TLC. Maybe overextending.
TP
deep behind enemy lines. Chad really wants the same with Daption and Philip. They don't even know. Time for you to step up, Toasty. Time for you to toast TLC. But you got to be careful. That is going to be that first divide doing a lot of damage. Flash in from Jenkins. Takes down Toasty, but trades the life of Steel. Burn on to Tim down, but he survived. Same with Roamer. Denver Fate buffered by Chad, chasing down, shutting down Roamer. Well, Jenkins might be able to trade it back. He does indeed. Messy fight from both teams, but Fear are alive, and that's what's important.
There's a super minion on the Nexus turret. Jenkins gonna TP.
Oh, he's going for the back, not even the back door. He's just going right through the front door. He's kicking it down. TP's in. He's on the Nexus, but Philip's already back with the super minions helping out. Jenkins, level 17, dashing back, getting damage, but dodged away by Philip, so not actually going to be the end of the game just yet with Lens and Daption here too. This fight ain't done just yet. Poke not connecting.
I mean, they
do get that. Dashing back in. He really wants the fight. He knows he's got the power, but everyone else has got more. Shut down for Lens.
TLC push really far up to try and pull this play off. I don't think that's worth it, as Jenkins is in the death chamber for 45 seconds now. Roamer can't TP to this Fear. They're actually going to be able to at least look to maybe the Baron Hextech being soloed out by TLC Spawn. That will be sole point, but does Fear decide to hit this?
Or do they just try to go through the front door
I don't know
for
if they can.
TLC?
Daption's so low.
Yeah. Look at the minions. There's still enough minions here in mid lane.
Oh, they're going to hit it.
They're going for it.
Okay, Dragon was taken. Spawn is rotating over Fear. I mean, crazy game to try and turn this one around. Kim Down's caught.
Caught out. Hasselberg Fate tries to get to the gates, but Daption this time closing it right on him.
Nice engage from Philip. Kim Down playing way too far up there. Needs to wait for Keel to find these engages, but Keel's being kept out of the pit. This Baron's gone.
Yeah, they're going for Philip instead, but look at Spawn. He's got minions. He can try to shove in, but there's going to be the backs here for the side of Fear. Getting back just in the nick of time to make sure Spawn cannot end the game.
2 super creeps in a bot wave. Fear should be able to catch all this. Jenkins cannot TP in. Philip is down for a while, but with Baron empowered creeps, it's an empty Nexus, but I think it's enough for Fear to at least hold on. As this game, it ain't over yet, man. We still got some action.
Yeah, with Jenkins not having the TP up, only Roamer having that, nowhere to really TP to get into the base. Looks like TLC gonna kind of give us a little bit of breathing room. Both sides gonna kind of let out an exasperated sigh as they wait for everyone to reach. Oh no, Chad. Ooh, he kind of spotted out. He knew something was fishy.
That was a high value control ward.
Yes,
as I think Chad's, he paid the 75 gold and donated another 30 to make sure that the game doesn't end. That's what we call worth.
Yes, it is. Don't end the game just yet. But with an exposed Nexus still here for Fear. Philip back on the map now. Look at TLC there. They want to end this game. They want it. The flashes away. The engage from Keel. Magnet Storm. Shockwave again. Lens, though, will survive only by the skin of his teeth. The engage from Keel not helping out. They do maybe trade it back. Chad gets the double kill for Keel. Toasty. Push back in. You cannot escape from Cincinnati Fear.
Roamer, he had the Seekers. He wasn't able to pop it as the combo was sound, but now
look at Spawn. Look at Spawn. He wants to get back into the base.
Philip knows.
Yeah, but can they stop both?
They have Baron empowered recall. They have Baron empowered recall. They can.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah,
Talking about it.
They found him. They're gonna flip it.
They know they're going for it. The recalls are coming in. Spawn, Kim down. They'll just take the gate out of there. Oh,
They got Toasty to base though.
Barely gets out of there. But look at the base, like you said.
Oh my god,
it's
it's TP. It's a TP. Oh my god.
They're going for it.
It's 25 on Roamer and 15 on Aatrox. Fear's gonna try and end now too.
They want to end it now. They know this is the only time they're going to have.
I don't
Here's Kim
know.
down. No
I don't
tempered
think they
fate
can.
up. Instead, they're getting a lot of damage onto the Nexus Church. Heals back. They've gotten both.
They got it.
Exposed
Oh
on
my
each
god.
side. But Fear, they deny the game from TLC, and they'll take game 1.
I mean, that is a heartbreaker for TLC, man. TLC played this game out really well, and they go for the end. It was only a Gragas up, but he had the ult. I mean, if TLC just played that clean, they could take the Dragon, take the Baron for free. Instead, they try and push, and Fear yoinked the game out from under them. I mean, they won at a deficit, and for TLC, like, these are the games they really need to win at this point. The season has not been going the way that TLC wants. They're 1-5. They need to get wins to find playoffs, and they played out that game so well, and then just pushed it. Like, it was a desperation push. They couldn't end against Philip. They did not respect the recall timers coming out. I mean, this is just disaster for TLC.
Yeah, let's take a look at this replay as well, because this is the game that merits it, right? This is a game where it got so chaotic here, and honestly, just there's so many moments where I'm like, oh, this is so good.
This is so good from Keel. Keel finds everyone that he wants. The shockwave hits 4. The combo is perfect from TLC. They destroy this fight.
Right.
And again, like from here, Dragon's up, Baron's spawning. TLC decide to push. I think that they can push and take the Dragon on the way out if they only take the inhibitor. Instead, they go for the entire game. The death timers just do not warrant it. And Gragas has good wave clear. Like, look at Gragas. He holds the barrel so it hits every creep. So he stops the cannon from getting in here. TLC, they don't have TPs to like burn the save it. And Philip, he just keeps on chugging out the wave. Philip, he's 100% safe. Now Daption, he's got the Rywise, all the slows, and look at all the damage that TLC's front line is eating. And yeah, I mean, they just get poked out. Lens has a huge fight as he gets one. Chad able to at least keep on pushing, and then Toasty at TP. TLC just paid no respect to what Fear could do to them on the back half. Like, Toasty, he doesn't even have a huge player. He's got ult and flash. He's spotted. TLC does a good job of stymieing this, quite frankly, but like, the fight's already over and doomed. Like, TLC did not need to put themselves in this position for the game. And the fact they did, like, I mean, that hurts, man. That's going to be a really tough one to bounce back from, because this should be 1-0 TLC. It's a team in the hole. They need wins. We talked coming into the series. We have wins against Fear. This is a quality team. Like, they outplayed them in that game, except they tried to end at just a terrible time. Did not respond well to that. Now they're in the hole 0-1. And like, TLC, again, they need wins. They're sitting at 1-5 on the standings. Like, every game matters for them. And that's a really tough one to drop.
See, and I was ready, for TLC to take that game, be like, Fear, 3 games. They always get to 3 games. But after a tough loss like that for TLC, we'll see how they can bounce back into this one. We're going to toss it to a break so that not only the players, but ourselves, we can reset and get ready for that second game between Cincinnati Fear and Team Liquid Challengers. See you in a bit.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
Everybody in Twitch chat.
Look at the camera.
This is the guy. This is the guy making the run to the LCS, through the LCS Challengers League. Round of applause for Scary Jerry.
Shout out Collegiate. We're coming for everybody. We're going to win. Also, Choco's been in the Twitch chat of every match that we've had, so shout out to him. He's our biggest fan.
Nice.
Can't wait to take St. Thomas out in the finals.
Kind of going back to the Lucian item here in the bot side. This sets up really nice for Lucian's ultimate, because the support item he'll grab is the damage amp. So you throw down that auto, you get the slow, you pump your ult. Oh boy.
Flash, doesn't matter if you die, and Wixie gets pierced through the heart. Victory in your first series of the split. It's a little bit of a top kingdom, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he was completely capped both games. It was just a slaughter, what can I say? But it's really good to see you guys again.
Top laner is going to show up as teleports are channeled. Now jumping into Jenkins right onto Chime. Bleeds him down so damn quickly. Quad is here. And a double kill as the sword slices down from Surdy.
I want to go to you as an individual, as we do see the Grim Reaper running around behind you. Thank you, Shochi, for being the mascot for the team. Still clubbed up. They haven't gone down yet. Shochi just free firing, jumps in over the knockup from Niles. No knockup combo for Spyrax to look for, and he even goes down. Shochi with a double kill, making a triple kill. Reset City versus Supernova's mid laner. Quadra kill to Shochi, and they will ace Maryville.
There is a reason that I said it's going to be a Shochi specialty game. The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Welcome to Challengers League.